Thank you. We're going to start.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this meeting of the Licensing Subcommittee C on the 4th of July. Can I ask for nominations for chairman, please?
I'd like to nominate Robert Knowles.
And I'd like to second that nomination.
Thank you, colleagues. Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this meeting of Licensing Subcommittee C. And I'll ask the officer to introduce the item, which is item number 2 on the agenda, Licensing Act 2003, an application for street trading licence at Stockland Square, Cranley.
Good morning.
Morning.
Holly Appleton, one of the environmental health officers. So in line with our street trading policy, applications for street trading on any areas of the borough that aren't prohibited have to be made to environmental health. On the 16th of May this year, we received an application from Swirls, an ice cream vendor wishing to trade from Stockland Square in Cranley. The original application included every day apart from Sunday, but this was reduced to Fridays, Saturdays and Sundays only between the hours of 11 AM and 5 PM during July and August 2022, and then Saturdays only during September. In line with our policy, we went out to consultation with this application on the 16th of May to all our statutory consultees and interested parties. The applicant also put a sign up at the trading location and advised 6 local businesses of their intention. We had a 28-day consultation period. During that time, we received 3 objections, 1 from a councillor and 2 from local businesses. We had 1 email of support from the parish council, and Surrey County Council Highways commented but didn't object. So those 5 responses are included at the end of the agenda document. The concerns raised by the 3 objectors related to the impact on existing local businesses and that there was already sufficient provision for ice cream sales in the village, and needs of the area is one of the policy considerations for refusal. So because of the objections received, it needs to be considered by the committee. So that's why we're here today. We have the applicants here and 2 of the objectors.
Thank you very much. I'll introduce the committee then if those present would like to introduce themselves. I'm Robert Knowles. I'm a councillor in Hazelmere, and I'm chair of licensing, but also chairing this subcommittee today. I'm joined by my colleague Martin Darcy and Joan Hagan, and we will consider the matter as the committee of 3. Any advice we have will be merely advice from our legal officer, who is also here, and we have the committee clerk also in attendance. The applicants, will you introduce yourselves, please?
All right. Hello, my name is Jasper Savage. I've decided to set up Swirls as a ice cream manufacturing company. Oh, yeah. All right. Oh, that's it.
Hi, I'm Diane Savage. I'm Jasper's mum.
Morning, I'm Mike Carter, owner of Moo Ice Cream, Cranley.
Morning, Councillor Liz Townsend, Cranley West Ward, and also portfolio holder for economic development.
Thank you very much, everybody. The agenda will show Councillor Reid attending. Councillor Hagan is here as a substitute, as Councillor Reid is unable to attend. Colleagues, all 4 of us, in fact, are there any interests to declare? No, good, that's fine. Okay, then we can proceed. Have you had, can I call you Jasper? Jasper, have you had a copy of the agenda? You have, good, okay. Right, would you like to explain why you're making this application and what you intend to do, so that it's on the record? Thank you.
Okay, I'm just going to
You can
quickly.
speak for your son, yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, I wasn't aware if he was able to or not, so I was going to do the first part. What I was just going to say was we did bring something that we wanted to show to everyone to explain as well what Jasper is trying to do. But I don't think at the moment we're going to have to show it, which is a great shame, but I might be able to play it on my laptop, which I would like everybody to have a look at. But before that, oh, I don't need to hold it again. Okay, so without using the slides, I'm going to talk about the fact that this is my son, Jasper. He'll be finishing his GCSEs. He has finished them. And basically for the summer, he wanted to have a go at making some of his own money. And he was looking at various different business ideas of what he would like to do. And this is before he starts doing his studies at Godalming College in September. He does have a Saturday job, but he would like to be his own boss and to make his own decisions. He's a new young entrepreneur, and as a parent, I would like to encourage this as much as possible. And where else better to start than in his local area? Therefore, he looked at different opportunities in the village and thought about selling lollies out of an ice cream bike. However, realizing this is not a unique experience, he remembered watching videos of street traders producing ice cream rolls. Further research from talking to the general public, he felt that it was something that Cranleigh could benefit from. He looked at Cranleigh as a whole and decided that Stockland Square was the place to be. Therefore, he set about making his application for the street trading licence. However, there's no indication of age. Therefore, as the responsible adult, I made the application on the understanding that my son can run it under my guidance. Hence, that's why I'm here. And in that case, I'm now going to hand it over to you, Jasper. At this point, we would have shown you actually a video to explain what rolled ice creams are. If you're interested in to know what it is, I can show it to you and walk it around on the laptop.
If perhaps Jasper could explain and in his piece. Thank you.
Well, rolled ice cream is it's made on a super cool platform in front of you wet once you've purchased it. So you have a panel about yay big, right? And it's super cooled to about -20, right? In which then you place your ingredients in and then you chop it up and mix it into a paste. After you've made it into this cool paste, you spread it, right? And once it's laid down in this sheet, you can roll it, right? And it becomes these little spirals that you can put into the tub and then sell. Best way to explain it is with the video, but that's basically what it is. Next bit. Right. Yeah, so after this, I would have gone on to my next slide, but having done my research, it was obvious that Stockland Square was the correct place for my swirl stand to be at. It is a safe pedestrian space, it has a PowerPoint, and it already has other catering outlets offering a variety of products. From my understanding, you will set up similar shops around in a business square, right? This will create a healthy business structure, which can drive up more sales for all businesses. It also creates a destination and a following for the companies. Swirls is all about the customer experience. It takes around 3 minutes to make a swirl, right? So rather than a ready-made product, it is a dramatical act that draws people in and gives them a real customer service. This creates a hustle and bustle of an exciting event adds vibrancy and to the shopping experience and individual to that customer's experience. To my understanding, street food has been a growing trend that has increased over the last 15 years, and it would massively boost Cranley's high street to invest. We realise that there have been some objections to my enterprise. Hopefully we have explained by our video how we are different. You can see just is not any other vendor selling ice creams, a run and grab scenario, but a real customer experience. Since it takes 3 minutes to produce an ice cream, that I am therefore limited to how many I can make in an hour. We are restricted hours, and we have restricted our hours and taken advice from the landlord, right, to restrict our trading months as well. Well, it proves that we are a project enterprise and not an adult model trading all hours and days of the year. The council shouldn't restrict competition, and I shouldn't be perceived as a competitor, but someone adding vibrancy to the high street that will create buzz. In reality, giving customers a choice increases trade overall rather than decrease it. I'm a 4th generation Guildfordian, and I am learning to give my time to the community, having spent 2 years on the Cranley Youth Council and fundraising for local charities. I've helped my mum with the applications. We have already done the required food hygiene courses. I've invested in the equipment and spent time learning my trade. I've done all of this without any help from local support groups. It should be noted that I am trying to be an ambassador for young entrepreneurs, something that I know Surrey is keen to encourage. For example, the children's business fairs. The councillor Liz Townsend said in support, "We want to play our part in encouraging the next generation of entrepreneurs in Waverley, particularly by enabling young people to participate in the fair." So this is my last step for me to achieve my business idea. In summary, I've done my research, made the applications, learned the courses and practiced making the product. I wish to try this out for some months in Cranley as a springboard to who knows where next year. Any questions?
Thank you very much. I'll ask my colleagues if they have any questions, and then we'll move on to the objectors afterwards. Could you put your microphone on, please?
Oh, sorry.
That's all right. I'll move on to my colleagues and Councillor Darcy.
Well, thank you for that presentation, Jasper. I appreciate it was a bit difficult without the video, but I thought you did very well. It'd be lovely to see the video because I've never heard of rolled ice cream before. I just wondered what the ingredients were that you were using.
We use the ready-made Mr. Whippy cream. It's a compound of double cream and milk. And then you could use Oreos, strawberries, bananas, Kinder Buenos, Biscoffs, anything you can think of, you can go into it.
Thank you.
I didn't have any specific questions. I do applaud your enterprise. And whilst I was listening with one ear, I have found a YouTube video on rolled ice cream. So we can have a quick look at that in our session. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, I was going to ask what it was, but that's been covered by Councillor Darcy. So I will go on now to Councillor Townsend, and if you'd like to address committee. Thank you.
And it's great to see Jasper here. And, you know, I do absolutely applaud, you know, his entrepreneurial spirit, which has always been very present. And remember him very much on the youth council as well. I come from a point of considering the other businesses within Cranley and who are obviously, you know, businesses that are established, that are employing local people, and also that have invested in additional, in the case of Moo Ice Cream, additional street trading and a license just opposite in Fountain Square. It is very difficult. However, I think that with the, you know, the committee's experience on these things, that and I know that Councillor Joan Hegan has been to Cranley, that Cranley is a bit unique to the other centres in that we have a linear high street. We don't have little areas where people will just go to that particular point and perhaps buy an ice cream, which is obviously a discretionary spend. It is a linear high street. People walk from one end to the other. And if you buy an ice cream, you're not going to then, you know, buy another one opposite as well. So I'm sure that the committee knows how difficult things are for businesses at the moment. You know, the cost of living crisis, we have got supply issues, staff issues. You know, it is a really, really tough time for local businesses. And I do think that having a diverse local economy where people will perhaps buy an ice cream and perhaps buy something else from a street trader, it would work in Cranley. Near to Stockland Square, we do have another, as well as the opposite, you know, Moo with their license for their selling ice cream. We also have another company business, a long established business in Cranley on the edge of Stockland Square, which has invested in a lot in equipment. Again, it is for soft scoop ice cream rather than the swirls. We also have another business just further down the high street as well, which has invested in a soft whippy ice cream equipment as well. So I think that probably from the point of view of Cranley and you know, the supermarkets which sell ice cream, I think we are fairly well covered for ice cream. And I would love to see some other street trading. It would be great to see some other food outlets, you know, but I personally think at this moment in time that having another ice cream outlet might just make the other businesses struggle. And I appreciate that Jasper's looking at, you know, weekends and is doing sort of proof of concept kind of ideas and testing, which is great. But I think that is the time when the other ice cream vendors do actually make like a lot of their money. You know, that's the time they have to deal with the peaks and troughs. And obviously winter isn't so popular for ice cream, but the summer period is. You know, I think the proof of concept, perhaps working with a partner organisation within Cranley would be great. And then perhaps looking more at the experience. I see something like this working more at events, you know, like carnivals, like sporting events, festivals, where people are there to experience and have that kind of time to stand there for 3 minutes. You know, if you've got 2 or 3 children and you want 3 of them, you know, you're going to be standing there for 10 minutes potentially. You know, it is the committee's discretion. It's up to them to decide. I would like them to consider the wider economic, the wider economy in Cranley, you know, whilst at this time it may not be possible for Jasper to perhaps do the ice cream swirls, you know, it might be at another stage, you know, that later on that perhaps there will be opportunities for something else. But at this time, Chairman, I think that we need to consider the impact on the local economy and the other businesses in the area. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Carter, if you would like to put your views, thank you.
Yes, good morning. Well, I mean, Jasper, first and foremost, I think, you know, innovation and people with ideas are amazing. And I think, you know, what you're trying to do is great. I was a 15-year-old lad who wanted to go and be a chef, and 45 years later, I went on to be head of food for Compass and Nestle and Mars and all the rest of it. So I had a dream, and I kind of like made it come true. And then I've got my own business. So I take my hat off to you. And I wouldn't want to dampen any of your enthusiasm. But we are a small, young business, and we did put in an application for a cart, and I was a little bit confused when, you know, the same application came through. And I take your point that it's in the same category, but it's a subcategory that falls below it. But to build a brand and to build a concept, our cart isn't going to be just a cart serving soft scoop ice cream. I wanted to share, if it's okay with you guys here. I don't have flashy PowerPoints, I'm afraid. I lost the plot after fax machines. My daughter does all that for me. But like all good businesses, we have MPD. And in our MPD for our cart are going to be handmade, so like Magnum lollies and ice cream cookie sandwiches. So we're not just going to be the average ice cream cart. As with everything that we do, we evolve and we brand. The ice cream cart it was obviously an option for us to get it into the centre of Cranley and obviously spread the word. But it was an investment that we made, and I'm sort of like trying to struggle to understand when the decision is made as to why and when someone can do something that there's a possibility of, whilst a different proposition, going to be allowed over the other side of the road. I would like you to understand a little bit more about the possible impact. It will. Everybody's going to want to try it, and it'll be an either Moo ice cream or it will be one of Jasper's lovely swirls. So that will impinge on my net profit. I'm a Cranley person. In fact, I'm third generation Cranley, and it's an absolute buzz for me to be able to earn my living in Cranley. And we're in it to make money. There's no two ways about it. And it's been a dreadful 2 years. Typical me, I decided to open up a business just before a pandemic. But hey ho, we've been shrewd and prudent, and we've come out the other side. And this year is our year of making up for the last 2 dreadful years, basically. But one of the biggest buzzes I get out of my business is being able to help the community. And we do an awful lot within the community. I'm sure Liz will endorse, with the primary schools, free prizes, involvement. We do lots of work with the Art Society. We do lots of work with St. Joseph's School. We are, we visit Chase regularly. All these are from my net profits. Now, if that gets eroded at again, because we have Mr. Sims selling soft ice creams, the fish and chip shop now selling soft scoop ice cream, Time and Lime selling tub ice creams, it's going on, and with each one it's impacted. And I'm going to have to take a tough decision that when my margin gets impacted again over the busiest time for us in the season, something is going to have to give. I'm not quite sure what that's going to be, but it'll be a staff member, that's for sure. And by the way, 2 of my staff members are marvelous employees, have special needs, and I don't want to pull on any heartstrings here, but you know, I'm going to have to chip away, and something is going to have to give if this competition comes on stream. I am starting to, this is my MPD, sorry again, but these are magnums, these are cookies, these will be sold, and I've seen the swirl or something very similar, and it's products like these that get smashed up and put into the wonderful batter that Jasper was explaining, and almost like reconstructed into an ice cream again. I can't really say anymore. I would never ever want to dampen or knock your enthusiasm. I think it's admirable. But I'm with you, Liz. I think there is an opportunity for street trade over there, but I'm donuts, waffle dips, you know, pancakes, things that we haven't got in the village, something that's not going to steal from my sales. And I can't be any more honest than that, basically. It was a bit of a shock. I was given the opportunity to trade with an ice cream cart, which cost me a lot of money. And I waited and waited and waited until we got the all clear from you guys to say, yep. Then I placed my order. And then within 2 weeks, I got this piece of news to say, but actually, you know, there's another application come in. And I felt a little deflated. But hey ho, if it goes ahead, it goes ahead, and we'll get through. But something will fall by the wayside, and I just need to share that with you. And that's me. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much, colleagues. Any questions of Mr. Carter at all? No? Yes, Councillor Hayden.
Thank you very much. We do seem to have a very difficult decision. Could you just clarify for me how long you've had your licence for your cart?
Yeah, we were given the opportunity to start business. I think it's the 24th of June or early June.
What, this year?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you very much. I think just to clarify the position, I'll look for legal advice, but anyone is allowed to make an application. So it may have come as a surprise, but it's something that cannot be controlled. It's because you have a license, it doesn't stop somebody else applying it. That's the legal position, I think. Is that correct? Thank you. Yeah, just so that's on the record. Yes, of course.
So my point wasn't about allowing the license. Absolutely not. You know, it was another ice cream product. Is that what Cranley needs? That's kind of like my question. Thanks. Cheers.
Thank you. Would you like to say anything, either of you, to in response to what has been said before we adjourn to consider the matter? Okay, thank you very much. Well, in that case, we, as the three members of the committee, will adjourn to consider them. Yeah, the borough solicitor will ask a question. Wants you to ask a question, please go ahead.
I wonder if I may ask a question of the applicants. You've mentioned that the stage of your studies. Can I ask how old you are, please, Jasper?
16.
16. And your mother, if I may ask of her, has said that, not your age. He's mentioned that Jasper would like to be his own boss. Can I ask what your involvement is likely to be in the operation? Are you likely to go there daily, or what's your involvement likely to be, if I may?
Yes, I mean, I'm going to have to physically be there to help him set up because it comes on the back of a trailer. And that, again, is another reason why I've set it to Cranley, because I'm going to be the one that has to take it there and back, and we just live up the road. And then I'm actually around on the days that he'll be working, but we are on the understanding that he's able to be there. He doesn't need an adult with him. We've done all the relevant courses, but if you like, I'm his backup. But I think he also had ideas of maybe getting other people that might be able to help that he can train up to do, because you can't run the store unless you've done all the hygiene courses, etc.
And if I may just ask, the application, it's been redacted, but in whose name that is? It's
in my name, but
thank you.
Yeah.
Councillor Darcy.
I was going to ask, you mentioned a trailer, and I presume there's some equipment involved in this. Has that equipment already been purchased?
Yes.
Thank you.
Anything else, colleagues? In that case, as I was saying, the three members of the committee will adjourn now to consider the matter, and we will have the solicitor and the clerk with us to give any advice and take notes of our deliberations, and we will return as soon as possible and give a decision. resume then at 11:41. Thank you all for coming today. The subcommittee have taken into account the representations that you have made. And we also note that the applicant has the support of the parish council. Therefore, we give consent to the application. That concludes the business of the meeting. Thank everybody for coming.